Hello, everybody, and welcome to Toffee Bluecast Instant Match Reaction. Straight after the game, I've come straight back out the pub after watching that. Got home quick just to be here for you. We've got Paul, the main man, here as well. We're going to have to digest this. There's loads to say as well. We'll only give it half an hour, but I'm pretty sure that'll be too much. Paul, how are we feeling after that? Get it in the comments. How are you feeling? Oh.
Disappointed with the lineup, disappointed with the performance, disappointed with the substitutions, just so lackluster. And
do you know what? I'm just gonna I'm gonna say though, right? If you would have given me that lineup at the start, as soon as that lineup come out, I knew it was. I said to everyone, like in the pub, I said it's not going to be 5-1 now. Definitely not.
No,
definitely. I knew as soon as that lineup come out, I knew that we was in trouble. And you lot can come at me as much as you want, right? At the end of the day, my lineup was better than that bloody lineup that we started with. We should have started with our best team. I knew as soon as we put that lineup out, I didn't even have Michael Keane at centre back. I'm not saying it's completely his fault, but my lineup would not have been that lineup at all. I never even thought about having James Garner left back, not in a million miles, and I wouldn't have had Irabunum and Garner-Gate and Dewsbury Hall on the pitch all at the same time. I mean, that's just too defensive for me. The lineup just wasn't good enough, and David Moyes, don't start pissing Everton fans off. That's one thing I will say, because that was just... The lineup was negative. The lineup was basically saying we're going to have to defend straight away. So I knew we wasn't getting 5 goals when I seen that lineup, because it just wasn't... You couldn't see that lineup being attacking in any sort of way, personally.
No, and the thing was, from what we said last night as well, I was talking about what we've not got and what we thought we had in the squad now, which was a link between the midfield and whoever was playing up front. But we didn't again, Ndai plays left-hand side, okay, fine. Ndai plays left-hand side. Alcaraz is not a right winger. That's where we were playing him. And you could tell that he was frustrated as well. Dewsbury Hall being in the 10. I like Dewsbury Hall, but I don't think he's a in the 10 kind of player. I think he's actually maybe should have been alongside Garner-Gay. I don't think Robinham did too badly, but it was just all very negative. When we got the ball goes into Garner, the ball goes into Tim, it goes straight back to the defenders. I mean, you could tell in times in that second half, we didn't want to give the ball to anyone on the left. It would just go naturally to the right-hand side. And that's where, we've lost our balance. I mean, if anything, Mykolenko was the biggest loss for us tonight, just because of that balance. Moyes obviously doesn't fancy Asnu having a go yet. But playing Garner left back, I just think pushed us to one side, and we were just disjointed. It was just really frustrating, really frustrating.
Leeds, I'm not even joking. Leeds should have been at least 3 goals up first half, at least 3 goals up. With the amount of chances that Leeds had, they just kept putting it across our goal line, and they just needed to tap the ball in the back of the net. I would have been fuming if that was us that had as many chances as they did first half and wasn't 2-0 up. Leeds smashed us up first half, smashed us up. They dominated possession. We couldn't get out of a box. And I was just thinking, what the heck is going on? They dominated us in so many ways, and it's just frustrating. And like you've just said, there's some people who say, oh, well, it's an Everton thing. This is us. This is what it's like. As you've just said, Timo Rabunum in that position, I don't think that worked. Dewsbury Hall, like you said, seemed pretty wasted in the position that he was in. Alcaraz on that right-hand side, he's not a winger. He likes it in central a bit more, doesn't he? He's not got good enough feet for me to be a winger, Alcaraz. And then obviously James Scott.
He's not. What he does like to do is just turn on a sixpence. When he gets the ball into him, I mean, straight away he's he wants to go. wants to go to the right. He had no space. He had no space to be able to do that. You play him in the 10, he's able to turn and create things. And I think he could do that in the 8.
Lucy Jenkins, not to overtalk you, keep on saying what you're saying, but we'll try and chuck a few comments on. Lucy Jenkins says, fuming, honestly, we're poor, but Tarky is a football juice. Apparently, he always knows what he's doing. Never a pen. But do you think it was a penalty or not, Paul?
If it was against us, we would be fuming that we didn't get it.
So, from what I've seen on the way home, it's all over X that people are cropping pictures and saying Tarkowski needs to chop his arms off for it not to be a penalty. That's a disgrace.
Yeah. I agree. I mean, he knows it hit his arm. I mean, he's literally going down to his side. He's not put his arm out. But I also know. I also know that they did not want us. They wanted Leeds to win tonight. Absolutely. Do you know what I mean? Sky wanted it. Everyone on Premier League probably wanted it. And they just got what they wanted at the end. It was just frustrating. Because it came from... But that penalty shout came from us losing the ball in the middle of our own half again. And it was a slip by Alcaraz. But it was the same kind of... It was the same kind of problem again. We're playing the ball into someone. We're playing a 20-yard pass, 25-yard pass into someone in the midfield who's coming towards our own goal. And they've got someone right behind them. Now, I'm all for moving the opposition around to try and create space. But that doesn't work. It doesn't work because we don't play it quick enough afterwards. If someone's going to drop back and receive the ball and play it back to a defender and the space they've created behind them is there, we're not using it. So why do that move in the first place? I just think we play ourselves into cul-de-sacs. And I know it was a slip, but that led to that shot, which then gave them the penalty. And we did it lots of times as well. We just got away with it the other times.
Felt like Dyche fed the tactics to Moyes tonight. Do you know what? I might have been deluded on my score. I wouldn't have gone for that score if I seen that lineup come out. I'm just going to stick with saying that because it's true. But I expect stick for it, of course I do. But I'm going to put myself out here and say I'm not deluded. Some people might disagree with me because I've seen a lot of people fuming saying it's not a penalty. For me, his arm is in a natural position, but playing football all my life, I know for a fact that Tarkowski's moved a little bit like that, and he knows where his arm is. He's deliberately put his arm there thinking it's safe and I'll move like that. He knows when he's moved, if you look, there's a bit of movement in that Tarkowski movement. He knows his arm's going to hit it. He knows he moves his arm into it, but he thinks my arm's at the side of my body, so I'll get away with it. If it hit... I personally, when I play football, if it hits my arm, I know it's going to be a frigging penalty. That's the way it is. Now, if it was the Copites, it probably wouldn't have been a penalty. If it was any other team, it probably wouldn't have been. But we shouldn't be putting ourselves in that situation. It's hit his arm.
No.
Just, as he says in the comments, it's hit his arm. You can't moan sometimes. We would have wanted it. There, it's hit his arm. End off. We shouldn't, like you've just said, we shouldn't have got in that situation defensively where they were doing us on the wing and put the ball across the box, which had done a number of times before this situation. You knew it was coming. And you could kind of see that Tarkowski's reaction, he shit himself a little bit because he did think. So, yeah, I get it. His arm is in a natural position and other teams probably won't get it against them. But for me, I think, you know what? Tarkowski knew it was going to hit his arm. He could have moved it probably behind his back if he wanted to. He knew that. He pushed his arm into it. It's like that. Look, you go like that, but you know your arm's going to hit it. You know it.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's just what I think. Difference of opinions. But let's not be just moaning about that penalty decision today, because fact is, we should have lost about 5 or 6-0 tonight, and there's big problems. And
they weren't good.
It wasn't just about the penalty.
Yeah,
they were. A lot of chances pulled in there. A lot of chances across the box.
They weren't great at all.
Monto had a lot.
You know, they were as bad as us, and it took.
Does that worry you more though that it was all over us and the one great though? From what you're saying, does that not worry you more that you're saying there wasn't good?
Oh, it does. It absolutely does. You know, thing was defensively, the defensively, we were all right. You know, our problem isn't off the ball. We can defend quite well off the ball. Our problem is when we've got the ball, and that's been the problem for the last few seasons. We can defend well. We've got the people who can keep a good shape. There was a few times that we were forcing Leeds back to in their own half or giving it back to the keeper. But when we did win the ball, we just looked bereft of ideas. There was a time in the first half, decent example, Leeds ballsed it up and we broke away with Ndai on the halfway line. And we had Beto running one way, I think. Alcaraz may have been running another. Ndai's got the ball and again just ran into a cul-de-sac because he had no one to... There was no clever runs. You know, and that's what happened with the forward line tonight, is the fact that we were looking forward. You know, we were looking at the two sides. We were looking for someone to make some sort of movement in that sort of number 10 area. And there wasn't anyone. And it wasn't all down to Leeds' amazing defending. It was through our own lack of mobility. You know, Beto's got one run that he can do. I can't say the same about Barry yet because we haven't seen him enough, but Beto's thing is to run along the line with the defender and then curve his run. And the idea is that we've got to find him in that space. But it's predictable. It's predictable. And there's no link. There's still no link. He still doesn't know who can play that number 10 role and be the link. So when we've had before, and we've had this discussion on here, is that we've seen moments of Alcaraz and Beto last season. That was a link. It will only happen for a couple of games. We need another link, whether it be Beto or Barry or whoever it bloody well be. We need someone who can turn in that number 10 area and create something straight away, not have to wait for it to come from the touchline, you know.
Do you know, like, I do think Beto didn't have his best game. I think sometimes he didn't, but not on a lot. I can't really slate Beto a lot because it was just a couple of hold-up plays that he didn't hold it up. But one thing I will say is I can't jump on Beto too much because nothing behind him. Like we wasn't in and around the box giving Beto chances. I can't jump on Beto loads because Leeds had a lot more. If Beto was up front for Leeds that first half, he probably would have bloody scored. We didn't give Beto no chances first half at all. We was just sat back, couldn't get out of our half, sat back, pinned in by Leeds from the first minute. And I don't see how you can jump on Beto too much because there was a moment where I'd seen their centre-back's got the ball. Beto's ran up to him. Their centre-back's passed it to the other centre-back. And where Beto would want someone to press with him, probably the number 10 to go over to the other player on the left, Beto's then ran across to press the other player. So he's had to press one, and then he's pressed two, and there's no Everton players behind him pressing. Well, I'm not saying we're nothing like Man City, but when I watch Haaland for Man City, he's got two people coming behind him to press with the wingers. They're that comfortable that they're going to get the ball back. And we wasn't even doing that. We was just literally just sitting behind the halfway line saying Leeds come at us all the time, not putting them under pressure. And I think if you would have put their defenders under pressure on the ball, they would have lost it and probably we would have got a few chances. Now, this is what Leeds did to us. They put our defenders under pressure on the ball, and that's why we was crap. Someone said in the comments, I read it, and they said, you don't realise that we're not as confident. And it's not just him. Michael Keane and Tarkowski wasn't very good. We're not as confident without Branthwaite centre-back because when Branthwaite plays centre-back, I've said this, all your passing comes from your defence. So if you defend, if your centre-backs are calm, your centre-backs will move it to the left, to the right, and they'll put it to Garner Gay and whoever's there. So I think when we play Tarkowski and Keane, the reason I moan so much about playing Keane and Tarkowski is because we don't keep the ball with them as centre-backs. I don't know why. I can't put the thingy on it. We're just not keeping the ball, honestly, and that's where your source of energy comes from is your centre-backs. That's where they're always on the ball, pinging it about when you've got possession. We need to find a way how to get possession, and we've not been a possession team for a long time, but I don't think it helped putting too many centre midfielders on the pitch, Paul, as well. It just seemed that there was all in each other's way. Like to play with Garner Gay, Irabunum, and James Garner and Dewsbury Hall, full of centre midfielders. It just didn't work.
Yeah.
They're all in each other's way. I think if you would have just played with wingers and spread it out a bit more and just played with just two centre midfielders, they would have got more space because the wingers would have pulled it out wide and we could have played how Leeds played, in my opinion. That's just how I feel about it. It's just disappointing for me, that is.
And people were getting in each other's way, but they were getting in each other's way right in the middle of the pitch, weren't they? It wasn't as if they were all fighting for the ball in Leeds' half. Do you know what I mean? Trying to create something. It was literally just trying and win possession back. And I think that's the problem that we've got, is that there's such a disjoint between the rest of the team and Beto, or whoever plays up front.
You did.
Is that they almost don't feel, it looks as though they don't feel it's even worth turning to try and create something. Our most creative player and is on the left hand side on the touchline, and sometimes he's 30 yards away, 40 yards away from where Beto is. That might be because Beto was like saying, "Oh, yeah, there is a little bit of space for you to run into, and I'm not going to crowd you." But there's no one within God knows how far between the striker, whoever it is, and the rest of the team. That's why Garnegay doesn't turn to try and create something. He'll just give it straight back to one of the centre backs, and then we end up hitting it diagonal balls into their full backs, and it's so frustrating. So frustrating.
A lot of comments flooding in. We do
I get that with the injuries, like we said about Mikolenko. You know, him not being there tonight and Garner being there straight away changes where the ball goes from our fullbacks. Because from Garner, it would straight away go right again.
Leeds were missing loads of players today as well. They had that Bijol that got a ban. He was on the bench. They had they didn't bring their new Newcastle player on, Longstaff, until later on. Leeds didn't start with the strongest squad either. So I get people say, "Oh, we had injuries," but I think we had the players to have put on a better show than that. But I think Moyes played the players in the wrong position, and I can't not say that because I honestly do believe he played them in the wrong position. We know that Alcaraz doesn't work that well on the right wing. I'm not going to lie. I thought maybe play him on the wing, but now I'm definitely going to say don't play him there again because I don't think it suits him. I think Alcaraz is just a number 10. I just think he is a number 10. That's it. That's the position he played for Southampton. He's not a winger. He ain't got good enough feet.
No. Nathan's, this is what I'm saying. Nathan's spot on. When they play the ball out from Pickford to the centre-backs, does anyone think I've got no confidence in this ball working its way up the pitch between players to link play between midfield and forwards? No, because there's a huge gap between the midfield and the forward. So there is no link. That's why it ends up getting played 20 foot in the air towards Beto. And he's just running round in circles because it's either all the way up there or he's just crowded by opposition defenders. Beto can't really deal with it.
Do you know, like, their fullbacks was bombing it forward. And because Leeds fullbacks was bombing it forward, the wingers was cutting in and Nonto was having a lot of success. Our left back was probably just told to mark James. Our left back had no intention of bombing it forward and putting crosses in. He was just probably told to mark James. And that's different sometimes.
Didn't have one.
Well, James Garner was left back, wasn't it? James Garner was just told to mark James. Yeah.
Well, he's not left back, so he's never going to do. He's never going to do an overlap. No chance. No. And tell you what's really frustrating as well is that the times where we looked as though we were going to put a dangerous cross in and we'd pass it to Garner, we kept passing it to his left foot, which seems like a really tiny detail, but because we played it to his left foot, he then had to have another one or at least two touches. And by that time, he's closed down. So, but then we've got to start again. It'll go back to the defenders. And then we've got to do the whole thing again. You know, Robinham, second half, plays ball to the left-hand
He
side.
was
To the left-hand side, I think it might, or Garner did to Rubenham, whichever way, and it's 5 yards, 10 yards behind him. You know, you get the ball 5 yards, 10 yards in front, you can run onto. It's simple things like that, and it's just frustrating at times is an understatement.
It really is frustrating.
A shame it's happened.
Do you know what? We're all in it together, and we all feel the same. And just stick together because no point getting onto each other. Who was right? Who's this? Who thinks that? Who thinks that? We all got our ideas of what we think is going wrong and right. But one thing for sure is it's definitely going wrong. I personally, we're coming to an end now, but I believe, credit to Leeds fans, I thought their atmosphere was really good at the start of the game. I think their atmosphere got on top of our players big time. And credit to them, first game of the season, Leeds was rocking that stadium. I'll give a shout out when it's due. They was rocking the stadium. And I think personally we should have started with Jack Grealish because I think he's someone that could have got us on the ball at the start of the game and toned that atmosphere down that Leeds had and probably just got us on the ball. You've seen it when Jack Grealish come on. He come on for the last 20 minutes, Jack Grealish, and he slowed things down. And you could see the Leeds put 2 players on Jack Grealish straight away. They feared him straight away to put 2 players on him, trying to mark him. And I think if you've got him on at the start of the game and they're putting 2 players on him, I don't think Leeds would have been attacking just by playing Jack Grealish. I think the lineup was wrong. I would have started with him. I know some people say he wasn't fit, but if he can play the last 20, Jack Grealish, he can play the first 45 minutes, in my opinion. I really do think he could have. It wasn't the best lineup. It really wasn't the best lineup.
It was interesting when Grealish came on, and they'd had a chat beforehand. You could see Moyes and Alan Irvine and Leighton was there as well, all having a chat about what they were going to do next. And then when Grealish came on, I thought, right, someone in the 10, you know. But Grealish went left-hand side and Dye went right-hand side. Alcaraz went in the 10. So is that meaning that Moyes doesn't see Grealish as a 10? Because I thought that would be ideal. I thought that was, in some ways, the whole point of getting Grealish.
In the comments, I completely agree with Paul. In the comments, he's like, Dan, what's your predict? Liam, I'm
5-1.
I am. No, I'm. I wouldn't have gone 5-1 before that, but I'm hurt after that.
I know.
I am. That's if that's. It's just knocked me down a peg or two, maybe, because I don't think it's even knocked me down a peg or two because I wasn't being cocky. I just generally thought we'd start a better team than what we did. I didn't have Michael Keane in my squad. You all know I didn't. And definitely didn't have James Garner left back. The moment I seen that lineup come out, I knew we'd be defending. And straight away, if my 5-1 went to probably going to be a draw here, that's how I was thinking. If we went to do our pre-match talk, whilst that lineup come out, I would never in a million years have said 5-1. You know I wouldn't have. I just generally thought Mikalenko would be available by luck. I did think that we'd put O'Brien and Tarkowski centre-back, and I thought the only bad position would be our right-back. But I thought we could really be strong. We wasn't from the lineup coming out, and it just ain't good enough. David Moyes, he's been fuming in the press conferences. David Moyes has saying he needs his players. If this isn't a wake-up call to the new owners that he needs his players, then I don't know what is, because we need a right back. We keep talking about a right winger. We need a right back, and we need a right winger, and we also massively, probably even more than a right winger and right back, we need someone in the centre of midfield that can bloody get us on the ball properly, I tell you. Because Garnagay can do it sometimes, but when he don't do it, who gets us on the ball? Who gets the ball moving? So we need that. We're not going to get Douglas Luiz, but we need that Douglas Luiz type player that can probably get us on the ball a little bit more as well, because Leeds, fair play, they did well, but they're not as good as we made them look tonight. And if a team like Leeds have that much possession against us, what are other teams going to do? So we've got a lot of things to sort out. And I've gone from really excited that first game, can't wait, to a little bit frustrated. I'm not. We can sort these things out, though. That's one thing I will say. We can sort these things out. Players need to be brought in, and I do feel that we're a lot better than what we was tonight. That Moyes made us a little bit shit tonight. He played them all in the wrong positions, in my opinion.
He does. He does. Obviously, we need new players, and I'm all for Moyes saying, and stating the fact that we do. But that isn't going to be it's not the be all and end all. Do you know what I mean? You're not going to get a whole new squad of players. So what we're going to have to do with the ones that we've got is make them play in a particular way is going to help us and not stifle us. That worried me a little bit tonight, and that we had 2 shots on goal and 70 minutes between them, something like that. Or was it the first shot on target was 70 odd minutes?
This wasn't good enough. No, we couldn't get one pitch. We sat back. It felt like, when you're watching it, it felt like we sat back and wanted to get a draw away. That's what it felt like. Honestly, we just seemed to defend for our lives and just sit back. Now, later on in the second half, we did grow into it. We did start to pass the ball a little bit, move it around the box, but it just wasn't good enough. I honestly feel if we would have scored and nicked the goal for it to be 1-1, we would have been lucky. There's Leeds fans that are in the comments, and you're saying you think you deserve to win. You did. When we play you next time, I think we'll be better. I hope we are. But it just wasn't good enough for us tonight. Things have got to. We need players in. We do need the players in. Can't be playing without a right back, a left back, and a bloody right winger. When you look at teams that you play now, you look at the team sheet. Even Leeds, they've got the right players in the right positions, and they look strong enough all over, and they're a proper team. When you look at our team sheet today, we've got a 4th choice centre back, Michael Keegan, 4th choice, who we probably don't want. We've got a left back. We've got a midfielder playing left back. We've got right backs, not right. It just wasn't. I know Jake O'Brien is our right back, but I feel that he didn't know what he was doing with James Garner playing left back. It felt like it was supposed to be free at times. I don't know what the plan was. And then Irabunum, Dewsbury Hall, and Garner Gay in the middle. Not for me. Just wasn't good enough. Just really wasn't good enough. It is coming up to that end now, Paul. What was you going to say? Sorry.
I was just going to give. I was just going to mention our competition, which started last night. Needless to say, no one's winning, but no one's losing either.
I reckon I've probably got to be like 10th because my name, Daniel, alphabetical order.
But I'm just going to mention it again for anyone who wasn't with us last night, because we've got nearly 900 people on at the moment. So thanks for watching. We're doing a competition where it's a 5-a-side. It's a 5-a-side thing, and I'm just trying to get the pictures on for you. But basically, Everton's official squad has got a list of defenders, midfielders, and forwards. And what we did, Dan against myself, is that we choose one defender from the list each, and we choose 2 midfielders, 2 attackers, and any assists and goals are 1 point each. And then the final game that we play in November, all the top points will be added up, and we'll give an Everton prize away, because it's not just me and Dan playing. We had 25 people give us a team last night, so I've been hard at work, and I can't show you the massive spreadsheet that I've got, but everyone's on 0. But if anyone wants to have a little go, you pick 1 defender, 2 midfielders, and 2 forwards. Now, if you have a little look at the squad list, you'll notice that Ndiaye and McNeil are forwards officially, and Jack Grealish is a midfielder. And if you pick your 5, 1 defender, 2 midfielders, 2 forwards, if you pick your 5 and you want to join the competition, which is free, by the way, then put it in the comments for me where you've got all 5 names.
Do you know what might be wise, Paul? What might be wise is, do you know when this stream's ended in a minute?
Yeah.
When the stream's ended, go back on the stream and put it in the comments, and put your 5 players there, and it'll just be loads of people that we've missed out. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah. But I've done it towards the end this time, so it's going to be easier to
to get the comments. But what I'm saying is, when the stream's finished, everyone that puts it in, there's not many comments when the stream's finished. So when the stream's finished, if you comment when it's finished, everyone that comments it will come up. So whoever comments it will just come up straight away without all the comments that have been talking about the game. So it will just make the comments of the competition separate a little bit. But if you do put it in this book, we'll have a look as well. We're just figuring out the ways to make it easiest to have got all your players. So all we want is 1 defender, 2 midfielders, and 2 forwards from what's on the screen. If you can pick your 5, 1 point for a goal, 1 point for assist, and we'll keep advertising and have a little competition. You did say, Paul, that there'd be probably no goals and no assists. It'd be easy against this. Oh my days! What a nightmare! What a nightmare. Cheers for the 3 points. Do you know what? Fair enough. We don't actually mind, Leeds. I didn't want to let you win. I'm fuming. I am really fuming about it. But fair play to you. Fair play to you.
Yeah. We're more annoyed about how we played, to be honest.
Oh, we just, you know what? It's just the start, though. We've got a lot of work to be done. We've got some players to come in. Jack Grealish fit will help us a lot. I could see it when he come on. I think Alcaraz has got to be played in the right position. There's a lot of stuff that's going to change, but it needs to change quickly because at the end of the day, this Premier League is a very high standard this season, and we don't want to be in a relegation battle again. You start losing against teams that have just come up, you could end up in a relegation battle. So we do need to change things very quickly and make sure we start winning games. The way that we played then against Leeds was nothing like the way we finished last season. So there's no excuse for it. And we had the same players then. So it's not good enough. It ain't good enough, people. But we stick together. And we'll be back for the Brighton game. You asked me my Brighton score prediction. Be here and you'll find out what my Brighton score prediction is. Paul's going as well. That is the end of the show, people. We are going to wrap it up. Keep in touch. Don't get too depressed about it. I can't say anything because I am, but just it is what it is. I honestly do believe we're going to sign a right back, we're going to sign a right winger, and all our players are going to be played in the right position. We might even get another striker the way it was going tonight. But Paul, last words, what you got?
We'll be all right. We'll be fine. Honest to God. 1 game in.
I don't think it's that we're worried. I just think it's that we was all that excited for the start of the season and that game. And that all that excitement inside, that was just like going from super high to being excited to absolutely being kicked in the balls. And like, I feel like shit. And that's probably how you lot feel as well. Well, not just balls. I mean, I know we've got...
Tomorrow's another day, and Sunday's another game, and our first proper game in Hull Dickinson as well. Really, so yeah, I can't wait for that. That's going to be great.
As Rocky says, it's about what you do when you get back up into it. What's that Rocky phrase? You know what I mean? It's not about how hard you get hit; it's about how hard you get hit and keep moving forward. Do you know what I mean? So maybe this is the wake up call that we'll all need. Every team this season will lose 1 game this season. So we've still got a chance of winning the Premier League. That's what you've got to think to yourself.
True.
Up the top is have a boss one. I'll play the roller coaster one. It seems appropriate. Right. Have a good one, everyone. Up the top is we'll be back for the Brighton game for the pre-match. Hopefully it'll be better because I don't like the top blue Cassars feeling all down and negative. Have a boss one.
Since so long, all the fields are gone. Fella stopped me on the street last night, said everything's alright. Roller coaster, make it through the day, I'm right. It seems your meal ticket is gone, but life